Canada Day turned deadly in downtown Winnipeg last night. One man is dead and another remains in critical condition following a double stabbing. Police were called to the area near Main Street and Broadway just after 10 o'clock last night. The homicide unit was still on scene early this morning. Officers say they are continuing their investigation and are looking for suspects. About 8 cars were surrounded by police tape during the investigation. Officers cleared the scene around 6 this morning. An apartment fire on Grant Avenue has claimed the life of an elderly woman. The blaze broke out in an 8th floor suite in this building around 3 yesterday afternoon. A second woman was taken to hospital in stable condition, suffering from smoke inhalation. Damage is pegged at $50,000. The cause remains under investigation. Meanwhile, 4 people had to be rescued from this burning building on Manitoba Avenue in the North End around 5 yesterday morning. The people were treated for minor injuries. Damage is estimated at $100,000.
I had to scream, wake up my husband, everything, and I opened up the door. There was black smoke everywhere, we were choking. And I went out to go through the front door, couldn't do it. Then my neighbor upstairs told us to go upstairs on the roof. And then we had to wait for the fire department to come.
The cause of that fire is unknown. Firefighters also had to battle a garage fire on Magnus Avenue yesterday morning. Damage there is pegged at $30,000. A hectic 24 hours across parts of Manitoba as the province continues to grapple with flooding caused by days of heavy rain. We're joined now by City's Natalie Geddes with the very latest. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Courtney. Well, I'm here at the Red River Control Structure where yesterday the gates went up in a move the province hopes will save homes in Winnipeg from the rising waters and divert those around the city. Because despite what is now a very clear sky, we are learning that across the province, more evacuations were necessary yesterday afternoon. With overland water rolling in from Saskatchewan, roughly 70 people in and around Virden were told last night to get out. This is in addition to the already 200 people who had to leave their homes across the province since last Saturday. Also bracing for a rise, Brandon is shutting off storm sewers in hopes of putting a plug on the Assiniboine. As of this morning, an additional 10 municipalities have declared a state of emergency, taking the total number to 34 here in Manitoba.
We know that the Premier spent yesterday touring much of the damage in southwest Manitoba. Is there any idea on the cost of all this flooding?
Well, speaking to reporters yesterday, the Premier wasn't ready to pin down a number, but I can tell you this. Over in Saskatchewan, when they're dealing with a very similar flood event, a similar number of evacuees, that government there suggesting that the cost of damage could run over $360 million.
Wow, that's a big figure. Thanks, Natalie. That's City's Natalie Geddes reporting live for us this morning, and she'll continue to have the latest on the flooding situation in the province coming up on BT. While we didn't set a new record, 2,500 people braved the rain and wind to be a part of this year's Living Flag for Canada Day. The Downtown Winnipeg Biz organizes the annual event. This year, the event moved from the Manitoba Legislature to outside the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Winnipeg has been doing the event since 2011. Last year, we set the Canadian record with 3,500 participants. A photo of the 2012 Living Flag actually became an official Canada Post stamp. A spokesperson for the Downtown Winnipeg Biz says they are claiming a new title, toughest flag in Canada. They say that the spirits and resilience demonstrated by the participants was outstanding. A traditional Indigenous blessing ceremony is being held this morning at the Assiniboine Park Nature Playground to mark the opening of the brand new Journey to Churchill exhibit tomorrow. The site will officially open at noon with the zoo's new mascot on site, Winston, who was introduced to the public earlier this week.
We know he's going to become a great friend of everyone that visits the zoo and really a Winnipeg celebrity in no time.
Tomorrow also marks the reopening of the zoo, which has been closed since June 23rd. New Winnipeg Blue Bombers quarterback Drew Willie has been named the CFL's Offensive Player of the Week after his superb performance in the season opener.
Second down, pressure on.
Willie threw for 308 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Bombers' 45-21 win over Toronto. It's the first time a Bomber quarterback has won the award since Buck Pierce did it in 2011. The Bombers are back on the field tomorrow night when they host the new Ottawa Red Blacks at 7:30 at Investors Group Field. And that's the news for 7 o'clock. More local news coming up at 7:30. Now we'll check in with Fiona Odlum filling in for Jenna.